Halftime Howie here with our aviation enthusiast, Richard Kaplan. And Rich, this was a monumental week, a tremendously tragic week in Long Island. Not one, but two horrible plane crashes. Fill us in on the tragedy that we felt here in Long Island over the past week.
Absolutely, Howie. First of all, I want to send my deepest sympathies and condolences to Johansson family, Ken Johansson, pilot for Geico Skytypers. He was the first crash that happened this past week. Ken was a consummate expert. I knew Ken personally. I met him at a dinner, attended at the Air Power Museum. I met him and the other Skytypers. Ken is the kind of pilot where situational awareness goes out the window. He was situational awareness. If he knew something was going wrong, he would do whatever he could to make it right. Unfortunately, this was an incident where something mechanical happened with the aircraft. It's a T6 Texan built in 1944 by North American Aviation. Very common aircraft, used as a trainer in the military. The T6 is a very difficult airplane to fly, from what I have heard. There's only a handful of people that I know personally who fly it. They all say the same thing, that it is a very, very complex machine to master. The Skytypers were Geico's elite team based out of Republic Airport in Farmingdale. They operated 6 North American T6s. They were known for formation flying, and they were gradually getting out of the skywriting business and going into stunt flying. That was their passion. That's what they enjoyed. That's what they loved. They were on their way to Maryland to I believe the Pax River Air Show at Pawtucket Naval Air Station in Pax River, when the aircraft experienced some kind of cataclysmic malfunction. Witnesses claim they saw the plane literally plunge nose first into the ground. No survivors. Only one person dead. I believe in my heart of hearts Ken was fighting this aircraft, trying to avoid hitting a row of houses, because there were houses in the vicinity, Howie, of where he went down.
Horrible.
And he fought this airplane, probably saved a whole bunch of lives in the process. He is a hero. Even in death, you'll be remembered as a hero, Ken, because I knew you. I know how you are, and you're very modest, as I recall. But you were an amazing man, and we'll miss you. We really will miss you.
But Rich, just when people were coming to terms with that horrible tragedy, we got hit with a second tragedy.
Yes.
In Long Island.
The second tragedy was a Piper Navajo, a twin-engine aircraft not meant to be flying in the kind of weather that it was flying in. In fact, I believe very, very strongly that what happened here will be pilot error, in the sense that the pilot never should have flown the aircraft into the thunderstorm that he did. Thundercells are notorious for producing what are known as downdrafts, Howie. This is when the winds go down, forcing the aircraft into the ground, or in this case, the Atlantic Ocean. There were 4 people on board. One of them was a famous builder, his wife, and their 23-year-old grandson. The pilot was 54 years old, I believe, maybe 53. What happened here is that you let your experience take the best of you. You figure, okay, I'm flying a twin-engine aircraft. I'm confident. What could possibly go wrong? The airliners fly these routes. Problem is, the airliners don't fly these routes, Howie. The air traffic controllers tell them you need to avoid thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are notorious, as this aircraft, unfortunately, was not designed to fly in this kind of weather. Most airplanes aren't designed to fly in that kind of weather, but this one especially. And unfortunately, crashed in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Amagansett.
Horrible, horrible. So, 5 people have lost their lives over a short period of time, and Rich, it's just so unusual that here in Long Island we could be talking about 2 tragedies, 2 crashes that happened basically 3 or 4 days apart.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very unusual. But what's even more unusual is the fact that this second crash, the one that happened in Amagansett, to me is eerily similar in some ways to Flight 800, because they never really, I don't think they're going to recover this aircraft. I have a funny feeling that it's going to come down to search patterns, because these planes don't have black boxes like regular airliners do. They don't have the pingers. So Yes, they have a transponder and they can fix their location, but you can't get an accurate perspective, if you will, as you would if it had been an airliner. So I think what we're going to learn here is we're going to learn that we need tighter regulations on general aviation. We need better training for pilots. I think that in the case of the Skytypers, we need more pilots like Ken Johansson.
Absolutely.
That's what we definitely need. We need pilots like Ken who are very good at what they do. They know the areas they're flying in, and they're smart enough to know that if they're going to go down and there's a possibility they're not going to survive it, at least minimize your casualties.
And as far as the second flight, I mean, I'm not an expert on aviation, but there's an old saying, and it says, rather be safe than sorry. And to me, the bottom line is that if you can avoid flying in thunderstorms, avoid it. Because it's not worth the risk.
Absolutely, Howie. It's not worth the risk at all. And my tip for the week to all you pilots out there is, if you are going to fly in inclement weather, file a flight plan and use your instruments. Use common sense. Don't be like, you don't want to be, I hate using this terminology. You don't want to be a JFK Jr. in the sense that you don't want to go out there and get in over your head. You want to know what you're dealing with. You want to know that at the end of the day, I'm going to come out on top with my passengers from A to B. I'm going to make it with no problem. That's the most important tip that I can give from an aviation standpoint, is fly safe.
All right, great job, Rich Kaplan, and
Thank you.
let's hope we don't have to have a report like this ever again in the near future.
Absolutely.
But it's reality. It happened here in Long Island. Great job, Rich Kaplan.